Are you currently contemplating a decision to invest in support for your business right now and into 2023? If that's the case, I invite you to stay with me because I'm going to be sharing some things that are specifically for you and coming from my heart to yours, my mind to yours, my experience to yours, to help you to come to terms with that decision if that's what you're struggling with, or feel confident about your decision, and really keep your mind in the place where you're attuned to the fact that the decision to invest in your business is a good one, because only good can come from it. It can help you to grow your business by leaps and bounds. And I really want for you, as you start to put things in context and look at all the spend that you're possibly going to be making and have already made this season, or possibly it's been a year where you've had a lot of outflows and not that many inflows. I want to kind of share with you some of my experience, if you will, and what I have found to be true whenever I invested in my business. So if you're looking for growth in your business, if you're looking to really take things to the next level, and you are contemplating a program that you want to invest in right now, or whether or not you should invest, how much you should invest, or wondering how you're going to get to that next level, wondering if you can do it yourself or if you should invest, I want to speak to the heart to you in this edition of Let's Talk Business Growth Live. So I'm Stephanie Treasure, online marketing strategist and business mentor. I've been in business now for several years, and I have had the pleasure and honor to be coach and play the role of coach and mentor to some high achieving, ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners in the coaching, consulting, and service-based business space, who have been looking to get more visible, bring on more of their clients so that they can make a bigger impact and stay profitable in their business. I come to the table to share with you my experience and background in solid online marketing and business strategy to help you to achieve your goals. So I've been going live each day. I think I'm on the 18th day now with a Let's Talk Business Growth Live to share with you some strategies and tips from my experience, from what I've learned, from what I've heard, questions that persons in my community have presented with. I've answered some of those in these live streams. And sometimes I take nuggets from my client calls and turn it into a teaching moment for you in this series of Let's Talk Business Growth Live. And I'm feeling into the fact that right now, there are so many launches that are going on, and especially after we just finished with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, right? A lot of offers were made there as well. But I know that persons are reflecting over this past year and thinking ahead in terms of what 2023 has to bring. And many of you, as do I, have big growth goals that we're looking to achieve and are contemplating the how, the where, the when, the what, the if, as well as contemplating the who or the what in terms of coach or tool or course or program or mastermind, what is a vehicle, what is a way, what can you invest in or do you need to invest to help you to achieve those goals. So based on what I'm sensing, based on the questions that have come up, based on what I've seen, I wanted to take this time to share with you some of what I have benefited from and some of what I know to be the case in terms of the benefits of being invested in yourself and in your business, so that you can truly come to terms with the decision that you're about to make or have made in paying for coaching, paying for support to help you to achieve your goals. Sometimes when it comes to money, we look very, it's a very, we look at the money and the spend in a very black and white, very if this, then that, or very, cut and dry way. And practically that makes sense. However, what I want to caution you on is that when it comes to spend, you have to put things in context, even if practically the spend may not seem like the right decision, or it may not seem to make sense. And you have to justify this within, you have to justify it for yourself. And sometimes you may have to justify it for a spouse or significant other, or to an entity from which you want to borrow funds and carry a loan to support this growth that you're looking to attain in your business. So I'm going to be sharing some things that I know to be true about making investment in support for business growth, as well as pulling from my own experience in terms of what that has looks like for me when I've made some big investments in my own business growth, right? So as you join me, go ahead and comment below and let me know where you're logging in from and what you do. And if you have questions about making investments in your business, I'd love to hear those below. Be as candid as you'd like, and I'll do my best to answer it if you're joining me live. If you join me on the live stream, I will reply to your comment and answer as best I can there, okay? So when I've invested in support, and I've invested at various levels in my business, at a high level and a low level, for high touch experiences like one-on-one coaching, and for low touch experiences like one-to-many coaching, right? Where it's just one coach, coaching many of us, and like I said, high level experiences where I'm getting one-on-one support, right? And each time that I have made an investment, it has helped me to grow in my business. Now, and I'm looking away and I'm thinking, because I really want for you to understand me. So I've made investments where when I look at the what, or try to quantify what I gained, because they say money is an exchange of energy. You put you pay for something to get something back. You put energy into the money that you're giving for a service or a product or program to get something back from that service or product or program, right? And when I look at some of the things that I've invested in, at face value, or sometimes in the moment, it may not have seemed like the best investment. And I may have looked at it and said, wow, for the funds that I put out there, for the energy that I put out there, this is what I got back. And I'm not really liking this, right? I've had that happen. But with hindsight and truly analyzing the decision and what came from it, I still made a return on that investment, because sometimes what I gained from the experience was an instantaneous energy boost, meaning that right away I felt like I got the worth of that spend, and I could see and even tangibly see the benefits of that spend. And sometimes when I spent money, that did not happen in the moment, but with time and with hindsight, and when I look back at the experience, I realized the value that I got for that investment that I made, right? Even though at the time and in the moment, I didn't feel like I didn't see and appreciate the value, okay? So I'm going to be sharing with you some things that will come about for you, and that has come about for me whenever I have invested in support for my business, in high-end support, in an experience, in a program, and in a coach who I have invested in their program because I'm looking for them to teach me and to guide me on some things that I haven't mastered, or on some guidance that I need and support that I need to get my business to that next level. And each decision I do, research, I do my due diligence, I speak. In some cases, if it's a low-end group program, I may not have spoken to the coach, right? But I feel like I'm pretty good at discerning an opportunity and coming to a firm decision as to whether or not that opportunity is sound and right for me. Okay, so here's some things that you can expect when you invest, and that has happened for me. The first is a return on investment. So as I was saying, and that was probably my first point, I always see a return on my investment when I invest in support. And I want to encourage you that once you've done the work to discern the opportunity, that you're going to see a return on your investment as well. Return can look like something quantified, right? Actual money that you made back from that investment. Return can be an improvement in your position where you were before when you started that course or started that mentoring, in that mentorship with that coach, where you started and where you ended up after that mentorship is different. You've moved forward, you've improved, you learn more, you know more, your awareness is improved. You have advanced in some way as a result of that experience, right? So return, that's what return can look like. And when I look back, I've always gotten a return on my investment, even in those opportunities that I felt were not, at the moment when I looked at it, I didn't feel like the exchange in terms of what I paid for what I received was even. I didn't really like what I saw when I got the thing that I paid for, right? Even in those moments, when I look back, it still moved me forward in a significant way, right? So I want to encourage you to look at your past investments and look at how you're qualifying the return, right? In some cases, you may have made money during the mentorship or after. And in some cases, you may have, your position was advanced because of that opportunity. So look at the investment that you've made and look to see the return that came forth. And look at the opportunities that you're considering right now in terms of investing in support to move to even a higher level in your business. And look at what's possible or what's promised as the return that you can get from that investment, and ascertain whether or not you feel it's worth it, right? But 9 times out of 10, you're going to get some kind of a return from that investment, right? That's what I found to be true for me. That's what I found to be true for colleagues of mine who have shared with me their investments and what they received from it. The other thing that I have realized for myself and I see for my clients is massive growth. Again, advancement in your position, moving forward in some way, gaining knowledge that you didn't learn, that you didn't have before, right? That's considered growth. And I usually see massive growth whenever I invest in support in my business, right? The third thing that I want to share with you in terms of the things you need to hear to reinforce your business investment decisions in coaching, masterminds, or other high-level support is new connections. New connections in terms of colleagues, in terms of partners, collaboration partners that have led to new clients, that have led to opportunities in speaking and collaborating, in website features and more, that have advanced my status, has advanced my presence, has advanced how I'm showing up in my world, in my industry for my people that could use my services, right? And the persons who have worked with me, especially in my group programs and masterminds, I know that they've gained this as well, right? So this is one thing for you to consider as you look at the opportunities around you, knowing that you're going to gain new connections that opens up a world of opportunities for you that would not exist if you don't invest in that program, right? Or that opportunity. Another thing that I want you to hear that can come about from supporting in investing in support for your business is exposure to systems and tools and automations and processes and exposure to different ways of doing things in your business that can help it to run better, expose you to a better team or a way of organizing your team that you did not know before, right? All of this can be gleaned from investing in your business. And this is what some of what I've gained from investing in my own business, right? I'm making some changes right now in my business in terms of how I run my funnels, how I house and host my funnels, a way of doing things that I'm really excited about now that if had I not invested in my business, I would not have been exposed to this. And the way that I'm hosting my funnels would have cost me 2 line items that I'm now 2 expense line items that I'm now slashing, totally removing from the books because of this way that I'm hosting my funnels that I would not have been exposed to if I had not invested in support for my business. So I'm really, really thankful to the coach that exposed me to this. And to the team that I got exposed to through that experience that is helping me to make these exciting changes in my business that I would not have known how to do on my own, right? So that's another thing that you can expect from investing in support for your business, okay? So again, this will help you to put that spend and that decision into perspective and help you to frame it for spouse or significant other who may be also concerned and worried about the investment that you are contemplating for your business, right? Another thing that I've found and I want you to hear is that when you invest in support for your business, it shoots your confidence level way up. There's something very poignant and strong and positive and all that's good about being supported by someone, knowing that that person is in your corner, that is behind the decisions that you make and is supporting you, and you knowing that you can lean on that person's expertise and lean on that person's support allows you to show up so much more confidently than you would if you are working and operating alone, right? So that's another big plus when it comes to investing in your business, really showing up with confidence. The other thing is discipline and focus. In any situation where there is somebody that's, I want to say instructing you, but it's not so much instruction, it's guidance, because you don't have to obey everything your coach says to do. It would suit you to, right, to be guided by your coach and do what, they guide you to do, but you don't have to. But when you're in a situation where somebody's saying, look, this is what I'd like you to do, and your deadline to do it is this deadline. When you are in that situation, it innately encourages you and helps you to be more disciplined and focused and not wander off and do this and that and procrastinate, because you're in a controlled situation, a controlled program with a mentor or coach, right? So you tend to be more disciplined and focused with what you're doing. And the container too, depending on the container, if it's a high-level mastermind and you're paired with an accountability partner, again, you're able to maintain your discipline because you have that partner who is holding you accountable, right? And last but not least, at least in the list that I've put together here, I'm sure that there's even more benefits in supporting in your business. But what I've found is that it gives me inspiration for what's possible. When you're in the room with other business owners, and even if you're working one-on-one with your coach, and they're guiding you and supporting you, and you have access to see behind the scenes of what's possible, the growth or the gains that they're making in their business, which is also possible for you, is so inspirational. The energy of that really helps you to move forward as well, right? Just being inspired by that and seeing people play at a much bigger game than you possibly even, than you thought was possible, right? That's what that's one of the things that I love about being in a coaching or high level support container, right? So I want to encourage you as you contemplate decisions that may be before you right now, or decisions that you are about to embark on as it relates to investing in your business and getting it to that next level, and doing things better or differently, or at a higher level than you have been before, that exposes you to being more profitable in your business. Make the decision with knowing these, with some of these factors that I've shared with you. Measure it up against these factors and not just the dollars and cents of it all, right? Because sometimes you have to admit, when you think about the dollars and cents of the spend that you make in business and life, it keeps you back from doing things that are prudent, that you need to do, because you're just looking at the money in that practical. And I'm making practical sound like a bad thing, I know, but like I said, there's a place for measuring up your decision against some of these factors that I've shared that makes it make more sense than just looking at the money in and of itself, or the spend in and of itself, right? So I hope this helps you to put things in perspective and make the decision that is right for where you're going, or where you're headed, or where you're looking for your vision to take you in your business. All right. That's it for this edition of Let's Talk Business Growth Live. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream and all the others that I've done so far. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to know that you were tuning in. Use the comment section below to say hi. And I hope that you have a wonderful and productive rest of the day. And good luck to you on your decision to invest in support in your business. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.